What's good, y'all? Welcome back. This is Casual Takes. I'm your host, LJ, and today we're going to be grading every NBA teams all season, starting with the teams in the thumbnail. Any moves made between me recording the audio for the episode and making the graphics will be represented in the graphic. If you want my opinion on the Norman Powell trade, I'll have that on my TikTok, which will be linked in the description. And without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start with the Lakers. I'm giving them a D. They just didn't do much. They lost Dorian Finney-Smith because they were trying to lowball him by telling other teams that his knee, there was something wrong with his knee. I've seen multiple reports saying that. Like, that really makes me hate the manager. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was never the biggest Rob Pelinka fan. I do think that the Luka trade fell into his lap. It might be fuck Robert Pelinka after that. Yeah, we call him Robert now. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, though, I do like the Jake LaRavia signing. 6'9" shooter. He can guard a little bit too. I like that for 2 years, $12 million. And DeAndre Ayton. I've seen a lot of fans saying that they think DeAndre Ayton is the savior. I have terrible news for you, bro. He don't guard. He takes way too many shots outside of the paint. He's not aggressive on the boards. Hopefully, he is a lob threat. He is an athletic lob threat for sure. And he does have all the tools, but he lacks the mentality. From what we've seen with the Blazers, especially, like, it was real bad last year. They also got Jackson Hayes back on a 1-year deal. Cool. He's a decent big man depth. Lakers also drafted a dude Thero. He can guard. He's stupid athletic, 6'6" wing. He should fit well with Luka and other guys just based off of his skill set and his measurables. But the swing skill is going to be the jump shot. He can't really shoot right now. But I do like a dude Thero. He was mocked a lot to go in the first round, so I think the Lakers capitalize on that. But I just can't give them anything higher than a D with the way they handled the Dorian Finney-Smith stuff. Just terrible management, honestly. Next up, we got the Houston Rockets. They're getting an S. This is probably the best grade I'm going to give out all video. They retained everybody. Jabari Smith, Steven Adams, Fred VanVleet, even a couple of vets, Aaron Holiday and Jeff Green. They added Clint Capella out of free agency and Dorian Finney-Smith out of free agency. Just another guy that's going to be able to guard off that bench. They didn't really lose much, except for Cam Whitmore and Dillon Brooks, who I don't really value Dillon Brooks too highly, just because you have guys that are going to be able to guard Dorian Finney-Smith, Amen Thompson, and Tari Eason, right? But you did lose Cam Whitmore for basically nothing. Don't love that. There was a bit of a logjam at his position, but I still think he has more talent than 2 second-round picks. You know what I'm saying? I love this offseason, though, man. They retained everybody that they needed to retain. They got rid of Jalen Green, who I thought his contract was going to be an eyesore, you know what I'm saying, going forward. They're able to get off of him. They got Kevin Durant, who's going to be an incredible fit because he, especially on a team that he doesn't have to make too much for. He doesn't have to play a bunch of defense. He can just go out there and get buckets. I love Kevin Durant on the team where he can just go out and score. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the Rockets are getting an S. I think this is the best offseason, like, by far, honestly. The Nuggets are another team that I think had a great offseason. They went out and traded Michael the Black Hole Porter Jr. in the first-round pick for Cam Johnson. Now, that first-round pick could be valuable. You know what I'm saying? Jokic is going to be real old, but who cares? You got the best player in the NBA. You take swings like this. You know what I'm saying? I think that Cam Johnson he's more composed than Michael Porter Jr. He can guard better as well. It's just he's a little older. I'm not mad at this trade whatsoever. I think this was absolutely necessary if you want to have more postseason success. Only thing is, he will get hurt as well. He has played significantly less games than Michael Porter Jr. over the last few years. But, hey, I'm not mad at this at all. They also went out and got Bruce Brown, 1-year deal. Don't know how much money he's getting paid. It's probably a minimum because he just has not played for, like, the past 2 years, it feels like. Yeah, this was his best stop, though. He was the best on the Nuggets, so I like them taking a chance on him. Tim Hardaway Jr., shooter, scorer off the bench. Very inconsistent, though, I will say. Jonas Valanciunas. Now, this is honestly their most underrated move because they haven't had a real backup center. I don't even know how long it's been, man. In the entire Jokic superstar era, they haven't had a real backup center. Valanciunas is a real backup center, so I like this move a lot. Only thing, though, about Valanciunas is DaRon Holmes. Are they not confident in him? I know he tore his Achilles, but I wanted him to get some minutes, man. That was my guy out of last year's draft. That was my favorite big man prospect. Anyways, I'm giving this offseason an A for the Nuggets. They did some real good stuff. I don't have none of their moves I can truly criticize. Like, I love all their moves, but they didn't really acquire the star talent for me to give them an S. I'm pretty hesitant to give teams my highest grade, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Nuggets get an A. Another offseason I liked a lot is the Hawks. This is a very well-respected offseason, you know what I'm saying? Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that's a fantastic wing/guard to add next to Trae Young. He can defend. He was able to shoot in the regular season, not so much in the playoffs. But yeah, that's an amazing addition to the Hawks. They got Luke Kennard, shooter off the bench. Don't got too much to say about him. We know what he can do. He can shoot. He can't really do much else. Kristaps Porzingis, elite shooter at the big position. Great rim protector as well. It's just, is he going to play? He will not play more than like 57 games. We know that at this point, and we don't expect him to play more than that. I love that they traded for him. They got rid of George Niang. Like, that's nothing, bro. They didn't even have to trade any picks. They got that Terrence Mann contract out the books as well. That's fantastic. Yeah, I have no complaints about this offseason at all. You know, maybe you would have loved to keep Larry Nance in the building, but you got Asa Newell, who's going to play the same exact role. So this offseason getting an A+ for me, for sure. The Celtics have to eat their vegetables this offseason, for sure. They lose 2 starters and an impact player off the bench in Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Luke Kornet. They got some regulars in the building and Anthony Simons. I do like that they were able to take advantage of the Blazers' bad management. You know what I'm saying? They were able to trade Drew Holiday and actually get a decent player back. So I actually like that trade a lot for them. They're under the second apron now. You know, these type of offseasons are just going to come with teams that are super expensive with the implementation of the second apron. You know, it's just inevitable, honestly. I can't give them too low of a grade because they had to do what they had to do, especially with Tatum being out this year. They're going to retool. I'm honestly not that mad at this offseason, but you did lose a lot of talent. I'm going to give them a C+, maybe a B-. You know what I'm saying? Because I do kind of like the Anthony Simons addition with him being on a 1-year deal. He's expiring, so, you know, he's going to give you whatever he gives you. You're retooling this year. I'm not mad at this offseason. Next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets. They re-signed Daron Sharp and Zaire Williams. I don't really have much to say about that. You know what I'm saying? They added Terrence Mann as salary filler, and they got a first-round pick, which turned into Drake Powell out of that trade. Also traded for Michael Porter Jr., and they got a 2032 unprotected first-round pick out of that. Love that trade. Obviously, they lost Cam Johnson. They lost D'Angelo Russell to free agency, and then they lost Trendon Watford. I would have liked to see them retain Trendon Watford, not gonna lie. I think he showed some flashes last year, and I would have liked to see him develop in Brooklyn, but, you know, that's life, though. The most interesting part about their offseason was the draft. They had 5 first-round picks, and they used them all. I don't like that. They're not going to be able to develop these guys. Like, you can't develop 5 young players at the same time. Or, sorry, not even young players. 5 rookies. That's just unheard of, bro. It's not going to happen, especially when 3 of them play the same position. Agor Demon, I think they took him way too high. I think Northern Traore was a slight reach. I'm not mad at it, though. I like Drake Powell out of UNC. Ben Seraph, I'm not familiar with his game, I'm not going to lie. Danny Wolf, I like Danny Wolf. His highlights were crazy at Michigan. He got a little bit of a handle to him as a 7-footer. He's got a jump shot to him as well, but the only thing about it is he's not great at rim protection, and he's not going to be allowed to do the stuff that he did at Michigan in the league. So I'm kind of questioning his role a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't love this offseason, man. You drafted too much young talent. I think if you condense this draft into 3 first-round picks, it would have been better. These guys aren't going to get an opportunity to play. At least 2 of these guys are not going to get an opportunity that they should. So I got to give this a D+, bro. I think you're crowding. Maybe a C-. Because I like the trades that they did. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like the draft. And I think the most important part of the Nets offseason was the draft. So, yeah, I am going to stick with a D+ here. Don't love it. Charlotte Hornets are next. I like their offseason except for one move. So, I love their draft picks, Con Knuppel, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and Liam McNeely. I like all 3 of those picks. You know what I'm saying? We love white basketball players. What can I say? They just play the game the right way. Sneaky athletic. Con Knuppel next to LaMelo Ball. I like him as a shooter. He can guard a little bit. He has a really high floor, and I want to see the Hornets pick those type of players even more, because when they swing for upside, they almost never hit. You know what I'm saying? I also like the Colin Sexton trait. I think you got to get an adult in the room as far as that backcourt goes. I like that he can guard, he can score, he can shoot. Yeah, I like Colin Sexton move a lot, especially when you're getting rid of Yusuf Nurkic. Boy, oh boy. You know what I'm saying? Only thing, though, man, I don't like the Mark Williams deal. It seems like that relationship with the team was just broken after he got traded to the Lakers and the trade got rescinded. But, man, I really wish they were able to keep him, because I would like this offseason so much more if he was still on the team. Now you got a hole at the big man spot. Moussa Diabate, Mason Plumlee, Kyle Burner, they're all going to fight for minutes. I don't like either of those guys starting, man. Diabate, he's a dog on the boards, but it's like he's not offering you much defensively. Kyle Burner is good defensively, but like he's a rookie, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to feel about that. I will give this offseason a B because I like most of the stuff they did. I just have questions about the Mark Williams trade and who's going to play at the 5. Chicago Bulls did it again, man. They somehow managed to have a worse offseason than last year. They traded Lonzo Ball for nothing. How do you go back-to-back offseasons trading great defensive, great 3-and-D players, great rotation players that are going to contribute on winning teams? You traded them for nothing again. How do you do that again? You should have learned your lesson by now. Re-signed Trey Jones, which I'm not mad at. I like his game a little bit. He has a mid-range to him. He is a good playmaker. He can guard. Obviously, the three-point shooting was fake last year. Shot like 50% in Chicago. That shit's not happening again. As far as the draft goes, though, they went and got Noah Singeh. I can't say that I liked Noah Singeh, especially where he was getting mocked in like the top 8. I just couldn't get with that. But at 12, I'm not mad at it, though. I'm not mad at it. He can guard. He's an athlete. He has size, ton of potential. Want to see him put on a bit of weight, especially if he's going to play the 4 next to Modest. But, yeah, though, I do like Noah Singeh a little bit for the Bulls. The only thing is, like, how many times are you going to take a swing at upside? You know what I'm saying? Get players that are good in the building, which is why I don't love the pick, because why won't he be another Patrick Williams, right? Because I know he can guard, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? All he can do is play defense. He can't shoot it. He's not great putting the ball on the floor. He's not a great passer. You know what I'm saying? He is a good finisher, but, like, dude, he only has one skill that he can lean on in the NBA, and that's defense. Guys like that usually don't stick around. And Bulls, you know you can't develop players. So why are we picking projects? You know what I'm saying? For those reasons, I got to give them a D. I just don't like their offseason, man. And they give me no reason to believe that they can develop players like Noah Singeh. We saw what happened with Patrick Williams. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, giving them a D. Cleveland Cavaliers, I like their offseason. They didn't do too much. I love the Lonzo Ball trade. You traded Isaac Okoro, who's just a worse 3-and-D player. You did lose Ty Jerome, but, I mean, you already got a backup one. You got Lonzo Ball to replace him. I like that. They thought they were going to be priced out of Ty Jerome, it seems, because they didn't even try to negotiate with them, according to some reports. I mean, it was only 3 years, $28 million. They probably could have got him back, to be honest. But, you know, that's water under the bridge at this point. They also went out and got Larry Nance, who's a good backup big man. And it seems like they're just going to run it back with this roster. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Second full year with Kenny Atkinson as the head coach. I do like running it back, but eventually you are going to question what the ceiling of that backcourt is with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, but that's a whole different conversation. I like their offseason. I see no reason not to give them an A-. They didn't do anything that I hated. They made smart moves. They made good moves. This is how you keep a good team good. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're getting an A- for me. Next up, the Dallas Mavericks. I'm giving them a solid B. This is going to be a short segment. All they did was go out and get D'Angelo Russell. They also re-signed Dante Exum and Kyrie Irving. I think these are all 3 good moves. I see no reason that they should get anything less than a B or anything more than a B. These are things that you expected them to do. They also drafted Cooper Flagg, which, I mean, the obvious pick there. They lucked into the number 1 overall pick. Nico Harrison trying to act like he planned this shit out. Like, okay, bro. W collusion, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, they're getting a B for me. Pistons, this is going to be another short segment. They lost Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder, and Malik Beasley. They went out and got Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, and they re-signed Paul Reed. They have a hole at that backup 1 spot now. The guys that you lost, as far as Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway, you replaced them with some equally inconsistent players. So I'm not mad at either of those moves. It's just who's running the backup one for you. Is it Marcus Sasser, my guy? Shout out Marcus Sasser for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? I believe in him, but do they believe in him? Type shit. Anyways, though, yeah, you have a hole at your backup one. Hopefully Marcus Sasser can fill that. If he can't, then, offseason looks a little bit worse. I'm going to give this a C. You didn't do anything bad. You didn't do anything that shocked me. So, yeah, C. Neutral grade. Warriors, all they did so far is lose Kevon Looney. They haven't got Kuminga back or traded Kuminga or whatever the hell they're going to do. So, the whole grading thing is not applicable for them. Yeah, let's move on. As far as the Indiana Pacers offseason goes, they didn't really do much. Just lost Miles Turner. They got priced out of him. He went to the Bucks, and then they traded for J Huff, who I like quite a bit. He can shoot. He can block shots. He might mess around and start for them next year. That's kind of upsetting, Oh, I can't say upsetting because I like the guy, but damn, Pacers downfall. Anyways, though, I'm not mad at this offseason. They couldn't really do much. They're kind of strapped for cash. Yeah, I'll give this offseason C+. Also, shout out Cam Jones. Next up, we got the Clippers. I'm not mad at anything they did. They didn't really do much. They got Nick Batum back, re-signed James Harden as well, and they went out and signed Brook Lopez. I like that move quite a bit. Go get a guy that has some defensive prowess. They didn't really have that at the backup big position last year. So, yeah, I like that move. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, just the volume of signings, trades, etc., I can't really give them too high of a grade. I'm going to give them a solid B-. Not mad at anything they did. Memphis Grizzlies had a good offseason. We'll start with the Desmond Bane trade. I like that move a lot. They got 5 first-round picks in return for him. Anytime you can get 5 picks for a player that you probably weren't going to have the money to re-sign, love that. Well, not re-sign, but you weren't going to have money to manage the roster how you wanted to unless you traded that guy. So I like that move quite a bit. You got 5 first-round picks for him. Also, you brought in Ty Jerome out of free agency for, $9 million a year. I love that deal. Only question is Scottie Pippen Jr.? Yes, no, maybe so. What are we doing with him? But yeah, I like Ty Jerome quite a bit. He's a good scorer. He can guard a little bit, play make as well. Fantastic shooter, at least in the regular season. Kind of fell off in the playoffs, lost him quite a bit of money. But that's life, though. I like that addition. You also re-signed Santi Aldama and Jaren Jackson Jr. They had to trade Desmond Bane to free up the money to go get Jaren back. I'm not mad at that. Well, I say I'm not mad at that a lot. I like that. You feel me? Jaren's the more impactful player. You also got Santi Aldama back. He's a good role player for you. So, yeah, I'm going to give this offseason an A. Oh, I almost forgot. How could I? One of my favorite players in the draft, Cedric Coward, went to the Grizzlies. Love that move. You're just putting even more depth into that 3-and-D wing position. I like his shooting. He can guard. He's super long, pause if needed. He's a good finisher. Very strong. He was drop stepping niggas. Yeah, I like Cedric Coward a lot as a prospect. I think he's going to be good in the league. He's going to have to fight for minutes, though. That Grizzlies wing depth is, it's a motherfucker to get through for sure as a rookie. But, yeah, I love their offseason. I'm giving them an A. Miami Heat didn't do a ton either. They re-signed Davion Mitchell and they traded for Simone Fettuccine. They also lost Duncan Robinson, Fettuccine and Duncan Robinson at this point in their careers are very similar players. It's just Duncan Robinson has way more volume. They also went out and drafted Jonas Yakachonis. Shout out E-Mills. I liked what they did for what it was. They didn't really do a ton. I don't like that Terry Rozier is still on the roster, but hopefully they honestly just completely remove him from the rotation. I'm not mad at anything they did, and I like the Yakachonis pick, especially at 21. So, yeah, I'm giving them a solid B. They didn't do anything that shocked me, like I've been saying throughout this video. It wasn't a ton of volume, but I like what they did. Milwaukee Bucks, don't like their offseason, I'm going to be honest. You waived Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner. So, you're essentially paying Miles Turner $45 million a year because you had to waive Damian Lillard to do that move. I heard there were reports that Giannis wasn't a fan of it, but it's like, when are you going to say, oh, yeah, I like that we waived Damian Lillard 2 years after getting him? I don't put too much stock into those reports, but they didn't do anything as far as the guards go. They re-signed Kevin Porter Jr., they added Vasily Micic, who is not good, and they have, Ryan Rollins, who they re-signed as well. That's not enough, bro. This team I can't even say it's shaky. This is not a good team, bro. If I'm being honest, I'm asking out. This is not a good roster. I don't like what the Bucks are doing. It's bad management. I don't like it at all. They still have Doc Rivers too, don't they? Man, horrible stuff. Well, I can't say horrible, but bad stuff from the Bucks. I'm gonna give them a C-, I guess. Maybe. I feel like I was pretty harsh on them during my analysis, but the final grade, it can't be that bad because they're in between the rock and a hard place for sure. I'm gonna give them a D+. I'm gonna give them a D+. T-Wolves didn't really do much outside of bringing back their guys. I like the Julius Randle contract. He played great for them last season. But the Naz Reid contract is a bit of an overpay. You're paying a guy $25 million a year that doesn't even start. I don't like that. He's a great shooter, great scorer. He means a lot to the franchise, clearly. But I think 5 years, 120 is extremely steep for a player of his caliber. They also drafted Joanne Behringer, who projects to be a good rim runner, a good rim protector. He'll get mentored by Rudy Gobert, which I like because he is a bit raw. Pause is needed. I don't know. Anyways, though, I'll give this team. Honestly, I don't like the Naz Reid contract enough for me to bump them down from what would probably be a B to a C+. Look, it's offseason confused me a little bit. They traded Jordan Poole. I'm sorry. They traded CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk for Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey. Nothing burger of a trade. If anything, try to get a pick for CJ McCollum. I don't know why we're trading for Jordan Poole. Like, come on now. That's a nothing burger. Like I say, you're swapping. This is the same player, except Jordan Poole is a little bit more irresponsible, a little bit more of a higher ceiling, I will say though. Yeah, I don't know. Are you trying to sell tickets or something? Like, come on now. But as far as the draft goes, though, they drafted Jeremiah Fears, one of my favorite prospects. Love Jeremiah Fears. I wish he had a chance to have a bigger role because, between him, Jordan Poole, Jose Alvarado, there's not too much minutes left in that rotation for him. You know what I'm saying? They also went out and got Derek Queen, who was my favorite prospect in the draft. It just hurts my heart that they also signed Kevon Looney. He plays the same position. And I don't know what the fit looks like with Zion going forward as far as like the future goes. But the thing that's the most questionable about that offseason, you traded your 2026 pick, not unprotected, by the way, and also it was a swap with the Bucks. So that pick is going to be good. Even if you're good next year, it could still be a great pick because the Bucks might mess around and be bad. So I don't like that trade at all. I don't like trading that pick, especially you're only moving up 10 spots. So you could have put a protection on that, I think. Yeah, I don't love it at all. You might still be bad next year because who says that Zion's going to stay healthy? You know what I'm saying? Don't like progress stoppers, Jordan Poole and Kevon Looney. So I don't know. I like some of the stuff that they did, but I really don't like other stuff that they did. So I don't know. Does that balance out to a C? You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what grade to give this. I guess they can get a C+ because overall I like the guys that they drafted. I think that those are going to be impact players in the future. I just don't know what their role looks like day one, and I don't know why the hell you traded that 2026 pick. Next up, we got the New York Knicks. I'm not mad at either things that they did. They didn't really do much. They just signed Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele. I like the Yabusele move. I think he's going to be a good player off the bench for them. He'll definitely impact some games. But Jordan Clarkson, he's going to fight for minutes with Deuce McBride. Whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? Might also be a bit of a progress stopper from Tyler Kolek, who I believe in. So, I don't love the move, don't hate the move, I guess. They can get a C. Thunder didn't really do much. They just re-signed their guys. They re-signed Shea, AJ Mitchell, and Jalen Williams, light-skinned one. They also drafted Thomas Sorber, who I like. He's a good defender at the five. You know what I'm saying? Has a potential for a jump shot eventually. So yeah, I like what they did. They can get a B-. They didn't do anything that shocked me, but this is how good teams stay good. Just draft well and re-sign your guys. So yeah, solid B-. I like what the Magic did, man. They went out and got Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. Also re-signed Mo Wagner. They drafted my guy Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. I like what they did, man. They got rid of some guys on the roster as well. Cole Anthony, KCP, that weren't giving them much. They went out, they got scoring, they got playmaking, they got shooting. I don't really have much to say. This is an A- offseason to me. Only reason I'm placing that minus on there is because you did give up quite a bit for Desmond Bane. 5 first-round picks is a lot on the surface, but, you know, I mean, you're planning to be really good throughout those years. The only pick that I'm really worried about is that Suns pick that might mess around and be really good next year. But, yeah, I like what the Magic did. I really do, so they're getting an A-. Philadelphia didn't really do much. Their biggest move was drafting VJ Edgecombe. Everybody expected him to go 3 towards the end of the draft process. They lost Yabusele and they got Trenton Walford. Pretty neutral exchange, in my opinion. They also re-signed Justin Edwards to a 3-year deal, who was a big surprise for them last year. Yeah, I'm not mad at this offseason. They did everything that I expected them to do. Only thing is, are they going to bring back Quentin Grimes? That's a question mark that's left in the air a little bit. But so far, I like what they've done. I'll give them a B for this. Knicks Suns, they ended up eating their vegetables a little bit this offseason. They had to trade Kevin Durant. And they went out and got Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, and Kaman Maluach. Decent return, honestly, because from the packages that were revealed to have been offered to them, that was probably the best one that they were going to get. I do like Dylan Brooks. Like, he's a good 3-and-D player. He's a contributor for sure. He'll be a contributor next year at least. Jalen Green, maybe he has more in store, but as of right now, Jalen Green is not good, bro. I don't like Jalen Green's play style at all. I think he's, you know, we know what Jalen Green is. He has room to grow, but I don't like him, honestly. You went out and traded for Mark Williams. Didn't really give up much. 29th overall pick in a pick in 2029, which is least favorable between like 3 or 4 teams. You didn't really give up much. I do like Mark Williams. He's a good interior scorer. It's just, is that foot a ticking time bomb at this point? They also went out and drafted Kaman Maluach, who is going to be a good backup to Markup Williams. Oh my God. To Mark Williams. He's a good defender, good interior presence, gonna catch lobs, all that. I like that draft pick as well. For what it was, I'll give this offseason a B-, only because I personally would have liked to see them blow it up. I think that a Devin Booker trade is optimal, quite frankly. Because what, are you going to be the 7th seed for 2 years and waste even more of Devin Booker's career? His trade value is going to continue to go down and down. You know what I mean? You're not getting much out of this team. Let's be so for real. You're not making it past the first round. So, I don't really know what direction they're headed in, but the offseason by itself, subtracting it from the current state of the roster, I'm not mad at it. I'll give them a solid B-. Portland Trailblazers, I'm giving them a D-. Drew Holiday trade was not good. You're paying him $30 million until he's 36. That's horrible. Anthony Simons leaving, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing much for your team anyway. DeAndre Ayton, they bought him out. I'm not mad at that. I mean, he's no use, especially with the guy that you drafted number 16 overall, Hanson Young. He's a good rim protector. He's shown some flashes as far as the passing goes. It's just you already have a 7'2" center who can only play drop coverage. You just drafted another one. I don't understand it. I think there was better selections on the board. You traded down with Memphis, who drafted a guy that is an impact player day one in Cedric Coward. I don't know why they didn't just draft Cedric Coward, to be honest. Yeah, though. Young, I don't think he's going to make much of an impact on this team, honestly. And neither is Drew Holiday. He's going to be a really bad cap casualty going forward. So I got to give this offseason an F, man. I have to. He didn't do anything except for 2 moves that I hated. That's an F to me. So, yeah. Kings didn't really do much. They went out and they got Dennis Schroeder. And they lost Jake LaRavia and Jonas Valanciunas. They also drafted my guy, Nick Clifford. Hey, if you want to win, draft impact players like Nick Clifford and Devin Carter. I like their 2 drafts from the past couple of years. Anyways, I guess I like it for what it was, but it's just the Kings, like, they're going to be bad again next year. I would blow it up if I'm them, but whatever. They can get a C+. Spurs drafted Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant, and they signed Luke Cornett. 3 great moves to me, especially the Carter Bryant pick. He fell to 14. I'm not a huge believer usually in guys that come off of the bench in college, but Carter Bryant has loads of potential. Dylan Harper, they made the right pick there. If you couldn't go out and trade for a superstar player, I always thought they should keep that pick. So yeah, I like what they did. It wasn't crazy high volume, so I can't give them an A, but I'll give them a solid B plus for that. I do like what they did. Raptors didn't really do much for free agency. All they did was re-sign Jakob Poeltl. They also drafted Colin Murray-Boyles, who I like. He can guard, but he can't shoot it, and they have a million forwards. I just don't know where he fits as far as this roster goes. So I can't give them a super high grade because I do think there were better picks on the board as far as fit goes. I'll give them a C minus. You know, the roster's not that good, but I will be intrigued with what Scotty Ingram, Brandon Ingram, and then could do. Scotty Ingram? Jeez, man. I've been recording for fucking 2 hours. Anyways, I'll give their offseason a C minus. They didn't really do anything that impressed me. Didn't do anything that I hated either. So, yeah, C minus. The Utah Jazz didn't really do anything but 2 moves that I didn't like very much. They traded Colin Sexton for Jusuf Nurkic. That's a bad trade. Jusuf Nurkic is bad. You already have big man depth. They also went out and drafted Ace Bailey, which Ace Bailey's a great talent, but the only thing is he does not want to be there. And if Ace Bailey's not buying into your franchise, you're just not going to be able to get his full potential as far as the defense. You know, he didn't really buy in too much this year defensively, or this past year, I should say, with Rutgers defensively. He has the tools for it, though. And I feel like if he was playing somewhere where he really wants to showcase his abilities, he could be a good defender. But I just don't know if he's going to buy in, you know what I'm saying? I guess I'll give this offseason a D+, just because it's you made 2 moves that I didn't like all that much. I can't give you a good grade for that. Last but not least is the Washington Wizards. I like what they did with their offseason, man. They just went out and got more young talent. They traded Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum. That's a bit of a nothing burger to me. I mean, they're the same player, if we're being real. As far as skill set goes, CJ McCollum is just older, and I believe he's expiring as well. Yeah, he is expiring, so, you know, I'm not mad at that trade. I do love what they did, though. Cam Whitmore, Trey Johnson, and Will Riley, all 3 scorers. Super high confidence guys. I like Trey Johnson a lot. I wish they would have drafted Derek Queen for the fit. That's my guy, but unfortunately he went to the Pelicans. Anyways, yeah, I like what they did a lot. They just stacked up on more good young talent. They traded Jordan Poole for an expiring contract. I think this is getting an A for me, man. They did all the moves that they made were good, and I like them. So that's getting an A for me. And that'll wrap up this section of the vid.